If you are over 60 and the skin on the inside of your arms has gone soft and crinkled, I need you to stop blaming your age. Your age is not doing this. Your age gets blamed because nobody wants to tell you the real word for what is happening, and the real word is collagen collapse. You know the morning I mean. You reached up for something on the top shelf and your sleeve fell back and you saw your own arm in the light from the window. Not the arm you remembered, a softer one, a quieter one. The skin gathered at the inside of your elbow like fabric folded too long in a drawer. You pulled your sleeve down. You did not say anything to your husband or your sister or the woman at church who hugs you on Sundays. You have not said anything about it for years. So let me say it for you. Your arms did not betray you. The collagen underneath them collapsed, and the people who know this are selling you the cure in a $40 jar that cannot possibly work. The collagen molecule in that cream is too large to pass through human skin. The dermatologists know. The companies know. The jar sits on the shelf anyway, because a woman who is ashamed of her own arms is a woman who keeps buying. Here is what none of them will tell you. The collapse is not happening on your arms. Your arms are where you see it. The collapse is happening somewhere else in your body, and it has been happening for years before the first crinkle showed up in the mirror. The skin is the last place the body lets it show. By the time you noticed it on your arm, it had already been quietly happening in a place you cannot see and have never thought to look. Stay with me for the next few minutes. I am going to show you exactly where the collapse begins, how to tell if it is happening to you right now, and why every cream and serum you have ever bought was aimed at the wrong part of your body. The answer is not on your arm. It never was. So let me take you under the skin for a moment. Picture your body as a house that has stood for 60 or 70 years. The walls are still there. The roof is still there. But the thing holding all of it together, running behind the walls and under the floors, is a mesh, a soft woven mesh. That mesh is collagen. It runs through every part of you. Your skin, your joints, the walls of your veins, the lining of your gut, everywhere. It is the scaffolding the whole house is built on. Now, for most of your life, that mesh was being rewoven every day. The body would pull out the old strands and weave in new ones. Quiet, steady, invisible work. You never thought about it because it was always happening. But somewhere in your 50s, the weaving slowed down and the pulling out kept going. So the mesh started to thin, not all at once. A strand here, a strand there. Years of it before anything showed. The first place the body protects is the inside. The heart, the organs, the places you cannot live without. The last place the body protects is the skin on your arms. The skin on your arms is not essential to keeping you alive, so when the weaving slows down, that is one of the first places the body lets the mesh thin. That is why your arms are telling on you. They are not the problem. They are the messenger. And here is the part the cream companies will never put on the jar. You cannot weave that mesh back from the outside. You cannot lay collagen on top of the skin and expect it to slide down and rebuild the scaffolding underneath. The body builds collagen from the inside out. Always has. The body takes what you eat, breaks it down into the small building pieces, and uses those pieces to weave new strands of the mesh. The cream sits on the surface and dries. The weaving happens deep in the dark where no jar can reach. So if you are not building the mesh back, it is because the building pieces are not arriving. They are not arriving because the place that breaks them down and sends them out is tired. That place is not your arm. That place is somewhere else entirely. And I will tell you something I do not say lightly. Every year this goes unattended, the mesh thins a little further in places you cannot see yet. The arms are the warning. What comes after the arms is harder to call back. I want to tell you about a woman who came to me about 3 winters ago. Her name was Doreen. She was 68 at the time. A retired postal clerk from Yonkers, just up the river from where I live. She used to sing in her church choir, second row alto, and she had the most beautiful long hands she would lift up when she sang. She came to my kitchen on a Tuesday afternoon. She sat down at my table and she would not take her cardigan off even though I had the heat on. I did not ask her to. I just made her tea. After a while, she said, "I cannot lift my arms in the choir anymore. I keep them down by my sides now. I cannot stand the way they look from underneath." She had tried everything. The retinol, the peptide cream that her daughter ordered from the internet, the collagen powder she stirred into her morning coffee, the dry brushing, the cold showers, the $40 jar and the $80 jar, and the one her dermatologist sold her out of his own office. None of it had touched the inside of her arms. I did not give her another cream. I did not tell her to rub anything on the skin. I told her to leave her arms alone for a while and let me show her where the trouble actually was. We started somewhere else entirely, somewhere she had never thought to look. 6 weeks later, she came back to my kitchen and the cardigan was off. She held her forearm out across the table and she said, "Feel this." The skin had thickness to it again. Not the arm of a 30-year-old, the arm of a woman in her late 60s who had her scaffolding back. By the spring, she was singing in the choir again with her hands lifted up. She sent me a photograph. I still have it on the shelf above my stove. And the place I sent her to look, the place where the collapse on her arms had actually been starting all those years, was the same place I am about to show you now. Let me say first what you have probably already tried. The creams, the serums, the collagen powder in the morning coffee, the bone broth, the retinol, the hyaluronic acid, the dry brushing, the cold plunge, the $70 peptide bottle, the dermatologist visit where they offered you a laser treatment that would have cost you most of a month's pension. Maybe a few of those things helped for a week or two. None of them held. I want to tell you why, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Everything you tried was aimed at the arm. The arm is not where the collapse begins. The collapse begins underneath the collapse. There is a chain happening in your body, and I want to walk you through it slowly because nobody has ever walked you through it before. Your arms are the surface. Underneath the arms is your body's whole collagen factory, and that factory has slowed down. And underneath the factory, feeding it or starving it every single day, is your gut. The arms, the factory, the gut. 3 steps. That is the whole chain. Now let me show you what is actually happening down there, because once you see it, you will understand why nothing you tried ever held. Your body builds collagen out of small building pieces, amino acids, little bits of protein. Those pieces have to come from the food you eat, but they do not arrive on their own. They have to be broken down out of the food, carried across the wall of the gut, and sent into the bloodstream to reach the factory. That whole job belongs to the gut. When the gut is tired, when the lining is thin, when the good bacteria that live there are starved out, the breakdown stops working. The pieces do not get pulled out of your food. The pieces do not cross the gut wall. The pieces never reach the factory, and the factory with nothing to weave from slows down. And the first place you see it is the inside of your arms. Picture it this way. You have a baker who has worked in your kitchen for 60 years. Every day, deliveries of flour and butter and sugar come to the back door. The baker takes the deliveries and makes the bread. For most of your life, the deliveries came on time and the bread was on the table. But somewhere along the way, the back door stopped opening properly. The deliveries piled up outside. The baker stood at the counter with empty hands. The bread stopped coming. The baker is fine. The baker still knows how to bake. The deliveries just are not getting through. Your collagen factory is the baker. The flour is the building pieces from your food. The back door is your gut. The crinkled skin on your arms is the empty bread basket on the table. And here is the loop that has kept you stuck. The collapse on your arms made you reach for creams. The creams did nothing for the gut, so the back door stayed shut, so the factory stayed empty, so the mesh kept thinning, so the arms kept getting worse, so you reached for more creams. Round and round for years. Nobody told you to look at the back door. So the question becomes simple. How do you wake the gut back up? The gut needs 3 things, and it has always needed 3 things. It needs good living bacteria to live in the lining and do the breakdown work. It needs the fiber those bacteria eat because a bacteria that is starving cannot do its job. And it needs the small healing compounds those bacteria make once they are fed, the ones that knit the gut lining back together so it can carry the building pieces across into the blood. For as long as my people have been keeping the old ways, there has been one simple drink that delivers all 3 of those things at the same time. The good bacteria, the food for the bacteria, the healing compounds. One drink. The drink is kombucha. It has been around longer than the country you live in. It was sitting in clay jars in kitchens 2,000 years ago doing the same quiet work it does today. When the gut starts to get what it needs again, the back door opens. The deliveries get through. The baker has flour again. The factory starts weaving, and the mesh on the inside of your arms, the same mesh that has been thinning for years, begins to come back. Not all at once, not in a week, but it comes back. The arm becomes an arm again. This is what I give the people who come to me with this. When someone sits down at my table the way Doreen did, I tell them what I just told you, and then I send them home with a daily kombucha practice. Every morning, a small glass. That is it. That is the whole thing. Nothing fancy. Nothing expensive. The same drink my grandmother kept in a jar by the window for as long as I can remember. I make my own kombucha at home because I have the time and the knowledge, But for everyone watching online who can't brew their own, I give BoochBod Kombucha Gummies. The link is in the description, or you can search BoochBod Kombucha Gummies on Amazon. The women who do this, the ones who come back to my kitchen 6 or 8 weeks later, they all say something similar to me. They say the inside of the arm feels thicker when they press it. They say their rings fit a little snugger. They say the skin around the knuckles does not look as papery in the light. One of them told me she caught herself reaching up for the top shelf without thinking about the sleeve falling back. She did not even notice she had stopped doing that until the day she started again. I think about Doreen still, the cardigan off, her forearm laid across my kitchen table, the way she walked back into her choir the next Sunday and lifted her hands up where they belonged. The same road is open to you. The same arms, the same mesh underneath, the same back door waiting to be opened. And I want you to hear this because nobody at 65 or 75 or 80 has told you lately. It is not too late. The body at your age still knows exactly how to do this work. It has not forgotten. It has been standing there with its hands out, waiting for you to bring it what it needs. Bring it. Watch what it does. If this helped you, subscribe to this channel so the next one finds you. Share it with the woman in your life who has been pulling her sleeves down for years. And leave me a comment and tell me what your morning in the mirror has been like. I read every single comment on this channel. Until next time.